This is Professor of Medicine Desiree Dubonnet, the man who left America to find freedom, who, well, just quite no longer a man. And today we're going to be talking more about B6 deficiency and dreams, the connection to dreams. And as we look at deficiencies of B6, we're going to see depression, dementia, neurological degeneration, fatigue. We're going to see a strong psychological component because B6 is involved with an awful lot of mental states. And many different drugs interfere with B6. The hydrazines, antibiotics, L-DOPA, chelation agents, oral contraceptives, even alcohol, interferes with B6 interaction. Other ones include blood pressure medications, anti-cholesterol formulas, anti-inflammatories, and basically hormone replacement. Now let's reiterate one of the most significant, and that is contraceptives. Any doctor who gives a contraceptive is required to recommend to take vitamin B6. If they don't, it's almost malpractice. Because we're going to see that there's a problem with oral contraceptives blocking the use of the B6 in the patients. And B6 is used to improve dream recall. If you take a little B6, it will stimulate your memory of dreams. Freud said that the interpretation of dreams is the royal road to knowledge of the unconscious activities of the mind.
Dreams are often most profound when they seem the most crazy, said Sigmund Freud.
We need to dream.
Dreams are guardians of sleep and not its disturbers.
Dreaming is part of life. It helps us to deal and release emotions.
There's a whole lore about dreaming. In fact, Sigmund Freud wrote a book called The Interpretation of Dreams, which many people think is the foundation of psychoanalysis.
Dreams can help you to connect your body, mind, and spirit and become more aware and anybody who you want to be.
It wakens the unconscious and helps you release emotion.
First of all, the unconscious mind. We can actually see the brain in motion, and we realize that much of the activity is totally unconscious, just like what Freud predicted. And Freud also said there is the ego, the id, and the superego.
In your dreams, you can also go back and forth in time. You can be in the future or just go back to the past.
Carl Jung taught us that dreams were a fluctuation through time and could help us see the future.
The ego is basically your prefrontal cortex. That is who you are. When you wonder, where am I anyway? Well, you're right there. You are sitting right behind your forehead.
The prefrontal cortex is the last part of the brain that innervates. You don't really become yourself until that's innervated. That's usually around the ages of at least 18, 19, maybe 21 or 22.
And then your desires. We see the pleasure center right there at the center of the brain. That is the libido. We see where the pleasure center is located.
The limbic brain is responsible for fight, flight, freeze, stress response, things, am I safe, do people want me, emotions live here.
Love, fear, hate,
Expression.
start here.
And then your conscience is right behind your eyes. The orbital frontal cortex, right behind your eyes, is where your conscious is. And so we actually see that in motion.
Your orbital frontal prefrontal cortex carries your verbal communication and consciousness.
This is where your words are, your word area of that conscious verbal awareness.
If you were to see a chocolate cake, you would see these three parts of the brain going zippity back and forth like a ping pong ball, because you're constantly debating the pleasure of eating a chocolate cake versus how fat you're going to become and all the sugar and the calories that you don't really need.
In the dream state, we are dealing with our emotions, with guilt, pleasure, desires, love, feelings, empathy, hunger.
Now we understand the physiology of the dreaming process. And we realize that it comes at the back of the brain, a very primitive part of the brain, and that certain parts of the brain are shut off when you dream. First of all, your prefrontal cortex is basically shut off, it's quiet.
As we dream is very complex, but we turn on the visual cortex and we turn off the frontal. We turn off the ego, turn off the superego. The amygdala, emotions, fear, etc. are turned on. The hypothalamus, endorphin centers are turned on. And these are the parts of the brain that are connected to an expansion of time and space. So we are opening the door to other dimensions.
Your orbital frontal cortex, that is your conscience, is also shut off. But that part of the brain is your fact checker. The part of the brain that said, that's not right, something's wrong, is right behind your eyes. That's shut off.
In your dream state, right and wrong becomes a little bit different, and the fact checkers are blocked. The reality and the decisions you make are becoming also a little different.
Yes, we don't really have quite the evaluation of what is real or not real.
What is active when you dream is your amygdala. And what does your amygdala govern? Fear and emotions. And so right then you know that when you dream, the active part of the brain is not the fact checker, not the rational brain, it's the emotional brain, the fearful brain that is active when you dream.
Sometimes your deepest unresolved emotional issues come to you in your dream as all kinds of avatars and figures of fear and scare and death.
At the Max Planck Institute in Germany, they were able to show once and for all that lucid dreaming is testable, reproducible, it is real. He was conscious while he was dreaming. There are many Buddhist texts, many texts hundreds of years old, that give you the outlines of how to control dreams, lucid dreaming.
To do lucid dreaming, we must conquer the fear and become less victim and more victor. We have to learn to act.
And we have to become more aware.
We have to learn to act and to accomplish and to do in our dream. Thereby we can save ourselves, save others. Dreams are invariably seeking to express something that the ego does not know or does not understand.
And we can change the energy and recreate the determination of our soul, body,
we
spirit.
start to seek understanding, but not in that verbal way. Dreams carry more weight and meaning than our conscious thoughts. While awake, 70% of our dreams contain secret messages that we have to try to decipher. We have to recognize that
the vitamin B complex, B6, and St. John's wort have been shown to produce more vivid dreams. Dreams are illustrations from the book your soul is writing about.
So as we are starting to seek this, we can start to see that becoming aware of our dreams, not to try to find out exact verbal messages, more emotional messages, emotional content.
And emotional shift. We have forgotten the age-old fact that God speaks chiefly through dreams and visions, said Carl Jung.
This allows us, through that area of the brain, of the endorphins, to transcend into the dimensions and feel the awe of the universe.
In sleep, fantasy takes the form of dreams, but in waking life too, we continue to dream beneath the threshold of consciousness, especially when under the influence of repressed or other unconscious complexes.
So dreams allow us a window into other dimensions in that deep quality of self. Beneath the words, what is the true nature of self? So you start to understand what condition your condition is in.
Vitamin B6 deficiency, your dreams may tell you.
If you are deficient in B6, you will not remember the dreams. You will not construct them properly. So take a little B6, take a little St. John's wort, and let the dreams come.
And take action in your dreams.
Some sexual images, don't be afraid. Don't be judgmental. It's a dream.
Don't be afraid.
Here's Rita in one of your dreams.
Oh, I'm princess, please.
And the dreams tell us some of the things that we might want to be inside life.
Or this is the shift what we have to make to see ourselves in these avatars and in this world.
And it allows us to have that emotional freedom.
And the growth.
Where the rules don't quite always apply.
And these changes you make in your dreams can make a big shift in your personality.
So you become in your dreams things that you cannot do in reality.
As you think, you become, said Buddha.
And as we see here, Rita being Queen of the Nile.
Cleopatra.
Not the Nile, but the river Nile.
That's a nice big value to see myself as Cleopatra. I wish it would be true.
Well, in the dreams, I'm sure that you feel these things. We don't always remember all our dreams, and thank God, because some of the dreams are not quite...
Dreams can help us to live our value, our gifts, and to embed us who we are.
But dreams have that negative side too, as you see him running away from the castrating thing. So inside dreams, we face our fears.
Hey, you a dreamer? They say dreaming's dead. No one does it anymore. It's not dead, it's just it's been forgotten. I'm trying to change all that, and I hope you are too. By dreaming every day.
Well, dreams, they feel real while we're in them, right? It's only when we wake up that we realize something was actually strange.
Our society has clung to the verbal type of analytical image and lost touch with our unconscious side. Dreams allow us to feel that deep power within.
Dreams may come. Dreams may give you blessings, ideas, insights, and more images, more imagination, more coloring into your life.
As you dream, you start to see inside, not just outside. And you start to gain perspective of who you are.
And dreams can be a higher extension of yourself, what you never discover when you're awake.
So we want to be able to encourage the dreaming process and let go of the fixation of that judgmental verbal brain so we can expand the mind and expand the consciousness.
And expand ourselves.
And expand our circle of compassion to include all things. So we start to face our own fears.
And expand the ability to feel more, to become more, and to find out more about ourselves.
We face the shadow. We face our loss. We face our tragedies.
Our personality.
And we recognize that there is a shadow that has to be dealt with. We deal with this in the shadow workshop.
There is a black and white. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate.
So we need to broaden our minds and recognize that as we deal with the shadow, as we deal with the unconscious, as we deal with the different factors beneath our ego, beneath our superego, when we get to the id, we start to see more and more.
Then we get rid of all our masks and our created images.
And we start to understand that the drugs will interfere with nutrition and B6 and thereby interfere with our development of our emotional self.
And they are interfering with our spiritual growth.
So as we start to see more and more how B6 is associated with a host of different emotional and physical problems, we need to be able to make sure that we're getting enough B6, not too much, not too little.
We have to make sure that we only reach out to natural resources and supplements.
Try to use nature as much as possible and discourage the use of synthetic drugs unless they're absolutely needed. Nothing else can help. And then as we start to recognize to take a little B6, it'll improve our dream recall, and then that way we will improve our emotional unconscious selves.
And the emotional growth. Thank you for being here with us today. I'm Rita.
And I'm Desi.
Signing off.